Game 2 of the current series. If you've not yet seen Game 1, you might want to go watch that first. There'll be a link in the description as well as in a button on the video. Game 2 now, in the group play at IEM Sao Paulo between Feast and Demuslim. Feast is our red Protoss up in the northeast on Shakuris Plateau, while Demuslim is once again the blue Terran, and he's now in the southwest on Shakuris Plateau. Now, last game, Feast just held control the whole game the entire time with 3-8 Blink Stalker.
Yep, he held him inside his main and sort of prevented him from getting an expansion and got ahead economically. When Demuslim finally pushed out, he just did not have enough to deal with the production and economy that Feast had.
His counterattack was destroyed and Demuslim was out of options.
Yep, Demuslim starting first supply depot at his ramp.
Nothing newsworthy at Feast space, just chroning out probes.
Yep.
And there goes the second Chronos. Yep, no Chronos being saved early.
Yep, Barracks and Gateway both gone down. Scout probe leaving after dropping the gateway.
While the Muslim's getting his wall off. About halfway down on the barracks now.
Feast grabbing his gas.
Now Feast's first scouting probe is going to the wrong position, it's going to the northwest, but after that it is queued to go to the southwest, where it will find Demuslim.
Demuslim's scout SCV actually also queued up in the same way, but on the southeast to northeast, where he will eventually find Feast.
Maybe he's changed paths now. He had that queued up for a moment, but now he's just heading into the middle. Let's see where he goes from there. Looks like he's headed south, so he will be scouting the wrong place first.
Yep, SCV is in position to drop a natural, but
Probe
is there to start poking him.
But there's a Marine here who will defend him.
Yeah. SCV turns around and starts building that base, so it's fairly fast expand.
Probe gets away, the Marine does not pursue beyond the ramp.
Meanwhile, Cybernetics Core is just about to finish.
So yeah, to recap, Demuslim expanding before gas. Also throwing down a bunker at the top of his ramp to the natural.
Yep. And Feast also dropping his own Nexus, having seen the fast expand by Demuslim.
The SCV sees it.
So perhaps a bit more of a macro game this time. Bunker going down at at the top of Demuslim's natural ramp.
Yeah, I'm just finishing up now. And Feast, once again, not chronoing on the warp gate research. Just now getting his second gas, whereas Demuslim is just getting his first gas.
Yep, and dropping 2 more barracks. Second gateway going down. Third gateway going down. Chrono's still going on probes though. So warp gate's just slow searching.
Yeah, there's the first Stalker now pushing out. Meeting up with the Zealot at the southern watchtowers. Now the Zealot's staying at the watchtower while the Stalker goes forward. Gonna poke in here.
Yep. Tech Lab just finishing on the first barracks. And fourth barracks also just finishing up.
Also, Demuslim establishing a second wall at the top of the ramp to his natural. Currently 34 probes to 29 SCVs. 1 Zealot, 2 Stalkers, 7 Marines.
Feast dropping a Robo Bay next to his gas.
And getting the gas at his natural.
Yep. All this time, though, Demuslim's still just running on one gas.
Yeah, very just marine heavy from Demuslim so far.
Yep.
And Feast says WTFFF. And that was the pause. Alright, this is our drama. So what happened here was somebody decided to message Feast with the information of what Demuslim had at this point. And they then, paused the game, and IEM put it all on Demuslim to decide what to do, because unlike most other tournaments of similar size or larger, their rule is not to immediately cause Feast to lose the map in such a scenario. And so, again, it was all put on Demuslim to make the decision. The only non-terrible PR choice at that point is to say to go ahead and continue the game. Which
he's chasing stalkers in the middle of the map.
Is likely, well, which is a poor choice for him to have to make. Yep, catching a bunch of Marines in force fields here. But the Marines still pushing forward despite it. Now coming up the ramp, but there's more stalkers that have warped in.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have an
Plenty
issue.
of stalkers here to hold it, yeah. And the last few Marines die off.
But I definitely like the way Demuslim handled that. Just sort of saying, this is exactly what I've got. Rather than, just saying, oh, yeah, I'll take the free win.
You meant Feast? Yeah, Feast was not required to do the full accounting of his units, so that was the, good manner thing for him to do. I mean, it was really a fair thing to do, though. But yeah, all in all, an unfortunate event. I think
double forwards, Twilight Council, and Gateway going down. Doing all that. As well as a third just now for Feast.
I think it's safe to say a lot of the blame for the unfortunate element of it can go to IEM for their tournament rules.
Yeah.
For having an unusual set of tournament rules that doesn't really accurately count for the situation. I mean, the only non-terrible PR related way for Demuslim to handle that was just go ahead and continue, which completely ruins his, build plan for the map.
Yep, Demuslim moving his third orbital command out to his expansion is going to see the pylon, or the forward pylon. It's getting shot at by stalkers, though, so he's going to have to change route and hope to be able to push these stalkers away. But I do like that they let the players choose. It's not just that it's a set in stone, oh, you automatically lose because you forgot to put on Do Not Disturb.
Well, but that is his responsibility to do it. It's a typical thing. I mean, my understanding was that there was some type of, he had to relog, and that's where it was forgotten.
Yeah.
But it is a typical tournament rule that he would have to be on, busy, so he couldn't receive such a message. And that he would, and again, in any of the other large tournaments, he would automatically lose the map for that.
Yeah. Demuslim does clear out the pylon and the stalkers and lands his orbital command at his third. Meanwhile, Scout Factory's moving in to seed Feast's third. Bioball
moving up the center. And I think that, the other big point, though, again, is that the only choice... Demuslim didn't have a choice. I mean, he comes across as the bad guy if he made the choice that would have been the most fair and rational choice from a, fair tournament competitive play standpoint of wanting some type of remap at least.
Bioball pushing in at the third.
Yep,
clearing out all the units getting warped in.
Yep, kills off the gateways and pylons as well. Now targeting down the Nexus.
Feast Army coming in.
Feast Army just now.
Looks like we're gonna get it.
Stims again. He's not targeting the Nexus though, he's engaging the Feast units.
Yep.
He had a great position there for a moment, but the Zealots eventually came in anyway, and now he's being cleaned up. Just a few too many more units for Feast.
Not clearing out the army or the Nexus.
That leaves Demuslim at 111 supply to Feast's 95. 117 to 96 now.
Yep. Feast transferring some probes back in and starting another photon cannon.
2-2.
Meanwhile, Storm Research is almost done, and the Ghost Academy is about a third of the way done.
Whereas both sides now working on 2-2 for the ground units. Muslim dropping mules and getting that third well saturated. Feast already has his own third resaturated as well. Sitting at 69 probes to 73 SCVs. There are 6 High Templars here at Feast's third.
Mobius reactor research going down.
Also a drop worth of Marines dropping in the southeast main below that third. Not moving yet, just sitting on top of the middle of what would be that base.
Yep.
DeMuslim getting a bit supply blocked here. He was at 137, 137, and now he's blocked at 145, 145.
Feast army moving out in the middle of the map. Getting caught by DeMuslim's army. Which
Those Marines
blocks
stem in,
force
coming at the third. They come to the middle line, catch a High Templar, and are now killing probes. Killing a bunch of probes. Warp in of some Zealots coming in. And the Marines load up again, having lost only one. Now attacking from the high ground.
I'm gonna get a free pile on there. Armies dancing in the middle of the map at the same time.
Both sides disengaging. DeMuslim up at 167 to Feast 125. This Marine's coming in again. Feedback on the medevac.
Yep.
Medevac dies. Still 4 Marines in the high ground. Stalkers coming around to fight him. Finally getting up the ramp. And those Marines get cleaned up. Just one left now.
Yep. Not a very standard drop, but a very effective one.
Yeah, DeMuslim has killed 33 probes. A ton of harass has been successfully completed between that and the earlier push into the third. Feast has never killed an SCV yet this game.
Cloak research going down. Blink research 4/5 of the way down. It's a pretty scary sized bioball that's just growing here in the middle of DeMuslim spaces. And he's building a command center for a 4th.
Feast likewise has a growing army in the middle. Morphing another Archon, he has a whole bunch of Zealots. Working on 3/3 upgrades. He has legs, he has blink. But DeMuslim just now maxing out.
Yep.
Versus Feast 161.
4 ghosts with this army. Hopefully get some good EMPs.
Ghosts coming forward. Oh, still pulling back. There's also a High Templar going forward there too. Trying to get those really caster counter snipes. Here comes a High Templar forward. Oh, gets a double feedback. Kills 2 ghosts.
Oh wow. Gotta be pretty happy about that. There's just 2 left now. Oh, 3 more join in. With reinforcements from the main. A couple of Marauders poke forward and get killed for it. Meanwhile, Feast expanding to a 4th, it's now about a third of the way down.
Rather ineffective storm drop there. The Templar got sniped for it. Ooh, a couple ghosts getting caught out in front though. 2 of them die, 1 of them managed to survive. Another storm getting dropped on the army, doing pretty decent damage. More decent storms. Big stem up as he's chasing Feast away.
Great storms. The majority of this army is all in the red, a deep red and yellow.
Yeah, very autumn-colored infantry ball.
The stim is not helping things out much.
Now both sides engaging. Zealots charging in, Guardian shields are up. Terran's doing some quick backup and micro. Oh, another storm does a ton of damage, finishing off a bunch of units.
2 ghosts just get left in the middle to die.
Blink and charge forward. Feast cleaning up the rest of DeMuslim's force in the middle here. He has now taken the economic or the supply advantage at 141 to DeMuslim's 123.
Just 1 High Templar left with that army. DeMuslim resupplying very quickly.
Feast now establishing a 4th though. His Nexus is already up, he's getting gases down there. Adding on pylons and cannons to defend it. Now transferring probes to it.
Economically,
there's 85 drones to 78 SCVs.
There are now 10 ghosts with this army. All the ghosts moving forward.
Warp-in happening outside of DeMuslim's 4th, up here in the northwest position.
Yep, a couple of Zealots, but it doesn't look like it's really enough, because there's a drop worth of Marines Marauders here and 2 medvacs.
There's also 3 more Zealots that warped in later.
Main army moving in at the front of those bases, though.
A couple nice storms catching a lot of bio. Stalkers blinking around. More nice storms. Stalkers pull out though. Overall, Demuslim has a few too many forces there. However, the warp in, there's now 7 zealots moving into that fortress mineral line as CVs get pulled and running away. A few bio come over to try and handle the zealots.
Yep, more stalkers, a couple zealots streaming out across the map.
Yeah, bless those zealots. Finally finally getting cleaned up now. Meanwhile, Feast taking a 5th. Get the pocket position for the southeast.
Yeah, warping in 10 new High Templars, which are now just sort of retreating, not having an army left to reinforce. A couple of Colossi in production, as well as a 5th base. It's now a third of the way done for Feast.
They're transferring probes over to it a little early. Stalker's catching that scout factory that had hung out above his above his expansion for a very long time, as it moved out across the middle.
Large bow mall now crossing the middle. A couple sims to get the front. Take out a couple of High Templar, but not before they storm.
Yeah, not before they stormed and killed a alright number of the Marines.
Yeah.
Feast now adding on cannons right in the middle here, just trying to fortify the central position between all his bases. Colossi now showing up in the army. He has his 3/3 upgrades, also has 1 shield upgrade. Working on a 2nd shield upgrade. And now he's pushing into this bio ball in the center northern watchtower, pulls back, loses just 1 Archon. The storm gets dropped on the ground, hitting nothing. Feast about to max out to Demuslim's 171.
Yep. Sniping a Marauder as they retreat.
Muslim now adding on some Vikings to help deal with those Colossi.
Yep.
Stems forward in the middle here. Feast is moving away. Doesn't quite want to engage yet. He has some Templars coming out. Storm gets dropped in the army. Not a great storm, but a decent storm. A big engage happens. More storms. Zealots are all dead. Colossi and Stalkers versus the rest of this bio. One of the Colossi gets sniped off, but all in all, the Muslim's army is just about destroyed. Just medevacs running away now.
Yep.
Demuslim at 115 to Feast 158. A few more bio units coming in here. Also some more Zealots to support the Colossi. One of the Colossi goes down. Just 1 Colossus left in the middle.
Looks like it's going to get taken out by... Oh, sort of disengaged. Meanwhile, Observer Speed just finishing now. Seems a little bit... I wonder if he meant to get Thermal Lance first.
Oh wow, he doesn't have Thermal Lance, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, he got Observer Speed, which I have to think was perhaps a mistake? Dropping his 6th Nexus now?
That would explain why they were standing on top of the Stalkers instead of behind them, though.
Yeah. But he's not researching Lance yet, and we'll see if he grabs it when he sees him engaged next time.
Feast also getting a 6th in the pocket expansion to his main.
And Feast is almost maxed out again, 190 to 159 of Demuslims. Demuslim moving out again, though.
Yep, Demuslim.
I bet 6 Viking, or 5 Viking.
He has yet to take a 4th or 5th of his own. He's still just working off his original 4 bases, 2 of which are mined out.
Yeah.
And frankly, the 3rd of which is getting close to mined out as well.
Yeah. Feast up at 2,000. Well, both of them at about 2,000 income, though. Those mules are going to town.
He is now landing a command center in the pocket to his main base. Then engaged in the middle, a bunch of storms going off, a whole lot of storms doing a ton of damage. Demuslim's army getting ravaged by the storms, now the regular units just cleaning it up, and he GG's.
Yep. Yeah, his army just got absolutely destroyed by those storms.
Yeah, Feast, you know, from a pure observational standpoint, it looked like he outplayed him there. You know, he was out-expanding, he was generally taking better engages. You know, at the end there, he constantly had the upper hand.
Yeah.
But, you know, the thing that happened with the, you know, kind of unfortunate event there with the tell, it's hard to say exactly how that impacted things, both, you know, psychologically for the players, as well as,
Yeah.
you know, what extra Feast gained from that, since, you know, Demuslim was the one who was doing a slightly more specific build, you know, with more planning to it. You know, this was his map that he chose and whatnot.
Yeah. And suddenly just sort of going out and doing, you know, the great thing was said, you know, rather than just taking a free win, which is within my rights to do according to the rules, just saying instead, hey, you know, let's just play it out, and here's what I've got also, since you know what I'm doing. That's, or rather, Feast saying that to him is, I don't know, I like it in terms of where the players were at in terms of showmanship. And I don't mind it as a rule, giving the players the option rather than just having sort of an in-stone, no, therefore you lose.
Well, I mean, with volunteering to give, you know, the full rundown of everything he had at the moment, Feast does, you know, Feast did the well-mannered thing, but still, I disagree. I think it was a poor tournament rule. Because there really was no good option for Demuslim at that point.
Yeah.
And because, you know, this was his map, you know, having chosen it and having a specific build ready for it, that wasn't necessarily an entirely typical thing. He did still lose, even though it was an equal exchange of information at that point.
Yeah.
And that wraps it up. Feast takes it 2-0, and we get to do another spoiler video.